Here's a funky one. If you understand maths, you understand diminishing efficiency, diminishing returns, which basically means as you keep putting more and more into something, the less efficient it is on the output. For example, at 100 protections, you have 0.5 mitigations from protections. To double that, to get it to 0.25, you need 300 protections. So that, by definition, is diminishing returns, diminishing efficiency. However, in Smite, there is a mechanic called diminishing returns. It applies on things like slows, movement speed, hard crowd control. I promise you will get those two confused. I wish they named it anything else. But here's how it works for hard crowd control. Whenever hard crowd control is applied to a target, they gain a stack of diminishing returns. You can have up to 2 stacks. Each stack lasts for 15 seconds and reduces the next crowd control effect by a third. So if I have a stun that lasts 3 seconds normally and you're DR'd once, it's only going to last 2 seconds. If you have 2 stacks of DR, it's only going to last 1 second. And here is the crowd control that applies diminishing returns. You got stuns, you got fears, taunts, wrong taunt, mesmerize, silence, knock up, knock back, intoxicate, banish, madness, pulls, pushes, grabs, carries, disarm, disorient, polymorph, tremble, and permafrost. All of those apply diminishing returns, but not all of them are impacted by them. So diminishing returns and CCR will not help you against these knockups and backs, banishes, pulls, pushes, grabs, carries, polymorph, and permafrost. But wait, there's also more exceptions. If it's a channeled ability, diminishing returns and crowd control reductions will not help you. Nox has a silence, but it's being channeled on the ground, so you can't counter it with DR or CCR. Cabrakan channels his own trembles, so CCR and DR will not help you. I made a list of all the hard crowd control in the game. Let me know if I missed anything, and the red ones are the ones where DR and CCR will not help you. And some of you are going, CCR, what does Creedence Clearwater Revival have to do with anything? Fair point. Here's how it goes. First, the initial crowd control duration. If it says it's a 10-second stun, then you got 10. Step 2, are you tier? If so, you cannot be stunned, taunted, feared, intoxicated, or mesmerized longer than a second. That is where that would apply. A 10-second stun is now a 1-second stun. Then CCR, crowd control reduction, up to 40%. Let's say you maxed it out, 0.6. So we've gone from a 10-second stun to a 1-second stun to a 0.6-second stun. And then diminishing returns. 0.6 divided by 3 is 0.2. So if you have 1 stack of diminishing returns, 0.6 turns to 0.4. If you have 2 stacks, 0.6 turns to 0.2. But the game will not let you diminish beyond 0.5. So even though it should be 0.4, 0.2, it's going to get pushed back up to 0.5. 2 more things. Some abilities have more than 2 forms of hard crowd control inside of them. Think of Hercules 1. It's a knockback and a stun. Do you get 2 stacks of DR or 1? You only get 1 per ability. What if I swap stances? So I ult as Cuchulainn and then I ult again as Kuchu. Those are 2 different abilities. Even though they're in the same slot, that's not 1 ability. And if you already have 2 stacks and you get hit again by more hard CC, what happens? The 2 stacks are just refreshed for another 15 seconds. Every time you get hit for another hard CC, while you have stacks on you, it just refreshes the timer. And one final thing, just because a character diminishes their own crowd control does not mean it changes how they use them. Gebs 2 will diminish his ultimate. So some people think, oh, then that means I should always ult first and then knock up. Nope, it goes by whatever's happening in your match. If they don't have beads or some way of getting out of it, go for it. But if they do and you hit them with the 2, it's harder to react to. And you can guarantee the damage on the 2 and the ultimate. If you go ult and they beads, you're not getting the 2. Now get out there and become the gods you are meant to be.